Introduction. The Power of Thought. All achievements begin with a single, definite thought. It is thought that stirs desire and desire that compels action. Every fortune, every breakthrough, every great advancement throughout history was first born in the silent workshop of the mind. Nothing comes before thought. It is the seed from which all success grows. Through over 25 years of research, I had the opportunity to study the lives of more than 500 successful men. Many of them began with no formal education, no wealth, and no connections, only with ideas and a relentless will to carry them through. These men included the likes of Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, John D. Rockefeller, and many others whose names are now etched into history. What they had in common was not luck or privilege. It was a focused mind, unwavering belief in a purpose, and the persistence to pursue it until it became reality. Their methods were not scattered or accidental. Each one, consciously or not, followed a definite path toward achievement. That path, when reduced to its essentials, consists of clear and practical principles. These principles are designed not merely to inspire, but to transform thought into real-world results. They are meant to be learned, practiced, and repeated until they become second nature. It begins with desire, a burning want so definite that it refuses to be ignored. Without strong desire, no one advances. It fuels the journey. It gives energy to the mind and drive to the body. But desire on its own cannot accomplish anything. It must be coupled with faith, a firm belief in one's ability to achieve. Faith turns desire into action and allows the mind to believe in the unseen. Through autosuggestion, thought is passed from the conscious mind to the subconscious. Repetition of affirmations, statements of belief and purpose, plant seeds deep within the mind. These seeds influence attitude, behavior, and eventually results. Then comes specialized knowledge, the kind that is directly related to one's goal. It is not enough to simply know. One must understand how to apply knowledge where it counts. Imagination serves as the workshop of the mind. Here, plans are created and refined, new ideas are born, and existing ones reshaped. Through organized planning, these ideas are given structure. Planning is the bridge between thought and action. Without it, desire remains vague and powerless. No goal is reached without decision. Indecision breeds fear, hesitation, and failure. The ability to decide swiftly and firmly is one of the most reliable indicators of success. Once a decision is made, it must be supported by persistence. Obstacles will come, temporary defeat will test resolve. Only through continued effort can success be secured. No person rises to great heights alone. The formation of a mastermind alliance, an intentional partnership with others who share your purpose, brings energy, insight, and strength. Two minds working in harmony create a third, more powerful force. Another often overlooked force is sex transmutation. The energy behind human desire, when redirected toward creative and productive purpose, becomes a powerful source of momentum. Great accomplishments are often driven by the same energy that fuels romance and passion. When that force is focused, its power is immeasurable. The subconscious mind acts as a filter and processor of every thought, every emotion. It responds not to logic, but to feeling. The thoughts fed to it regularly become beliefs, and those beliefs dictate actions. The brain itself operates as a broadcasting and receiving station, picking up vibrations of thought from others, transmitting one's own thoughts outward, and influencing the surrounding environment. In time and with practice, the sixth sense begins to emerge, a kind of intuitive insight that goes beyond ordinary reason. It brings flashes of understanding, sudden clarity, and new ideas seemingly from nowhere. This faculty only becomes reliable after the other principles have been fully developed. All these forces operate within the mind. The external world responds to the inner world. Whatever is impressed upon the mind with belief and repetition eventually becomes reality. This is not imagination or fantasy. It is a process that has been demonstrated again and again by those who commit to it fully. What stands in the way for most is not a lack of opportunity, but the habit of drifting through life without purpose. Fear, procrastination, doubt, and indecision take control of the mind and suppress desire. But the mind can be trained, just as the body can be trained. It can be directed, strengthened, and made to serve your goals. This is a process of building mental discipline, of replacing weak, vague thoughts with strong, definite ones, of turning invisible ideas into visible results. The men whose lives I studied succeeded because they took control of their minds. They refused to be controlled by circumstances or defeated by failure. When setbacks came, they pressed forward. When others doubted them, they believed in themselves. When doors closed, they found new ones. The same forces are available to anyone willing to apply them. It does not matter where one begins. It matters only that one decides, acts, and persists. These principles are not limited to money. They apply to health, to relationships, to influence, to personal freedom. Riches are not only measured in financial terms. They include peace of mind, strength of will, clarity of purpose, and freedom from fear. But none of this happens passively. These ideas must be applied actively, consistently, and with emotion. One cannot expect change by merely reading. The transformation begins only when the principles are used, when they are woven into the daily habits of thinking, speaking, and acting. The journey of achievement begins in the mind. From that point forward, every step is shaped by intention. The mind is both the tool and the battlefield. Control it, and life responds in kind. Allow it to drift, and nothing of value will take root. Every person holds within them the capacity to rise, to grow, and to create a life of purpose. The tools are already present. The task now is to begin. Chapter 2, Desire, the starting point of all achievement. Every great accomplishment begins with desire, not hope, not wishful thinking, but an intense, burning desire, a state of mind so focused that it becomes an obsession. It is this kind of desire that transforms the impossible into the inevitable. It is the foundation of all success and the first step toward the realization of any goal. Desire is not a passive condition. It is an active force that shapes thought and directs action. Weak desires bring weak results. Strong, definite desires, when combined with belief and persistence, produce powerful results. This is not theory. It is a fact proven through the lives of men and women who have risen from obscurity to greatness through the sheer intensity of their desire. Let it be clear. Desire is not merely wanting something. Everyone wants things, money, success, happiness, but few are willing to pay the price for them. Desire becomes power only when it is definite and backed by action. It must be so consuming that it drives all doubt and hesitation from the mind. Consider the story of Edwin C. Barnes. His desire was simple, to become a business associate of Thomas Edison. Not a clerk, not an employee, but a partner. This idea possessed him. He didn't have money, influence, or even an introduction, but he had a clear, unwavering goal and the willingness to pursue it at any cost. Barnes didn't approach Edison with vague ambition. He had made up his mind. He boarded a freight train and traveled hundreds of miles to meet Edison in person. When he arrived, he stated his purpose boldly. Edison saw something in the young man's eyes: determination, resolve, belief. He didn't become Edison's partner that day, but he was given a low-level job. He accepted it gladly, knowing it was only the first step. For months, Barnes worked in the background, unnoticed by most, but never by himself. He held on to his goal with absolute focus. Then came his opportunity. Edison had developed a new dictating machine. His salesmen were unsure how to sell it. Barnes saw his moment. He offered to sell the machine, and he succeeded where others had failed. That success led to a partnership, just as he had imagined. His dream became reality not because of luck or circumstance, but because of desire. Barnes desired success so strongly that he was willing to stake everything on it. He did not say, "I would like to work with Edison if the opportunity arises." He said, "I will work with Edison, and I will find a way to make it happen." This is the essence of true desire: a decision, a commitment, and the refusal to retreat. Temporary defeat did not deter him. He was not waiting for a guarantee. He created his opportunity through persistent belief and readiness to act. Here lies one of the most important lessons about success. Dreams do not come true for those who merely wish. They come true for those who desire, who define a goal, create a plan, and act without hesitation or surrender. There is a method by which desire can be transmuted into its financial or personal equivalent. The steps are precise and must be followed with intention. 1. Fix in your mind the exact amount of what you desire. Do not speak in generalities. Be specific. 2. Determine exactly what you intend to give in return. There is no such thing as something for nothing. 3. Establish a definite date by which you intend to achieve your desire. 4. Create a clear plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not. 5. Write out a clear, concise statement of the amount you intend to acquire, the time limit, what you intend to give in return, and the plan through which you intend to achieve it. 6. Read your written statement aloud twice daily, once in the morning and once at night. As you read, see and feel yourself already in possession of what you desire. This process is not a ritual. It is a deliberate mental training exercise. The purpose is to condition the subconscious mind. Repetition, emotion, and visualization are the tools by which belief is developed. Once belief takes hold, the mind begins to act differently. It becomes alert to opportunities, more confident in decisions, and more persistent in action. The subconscious mind responds to emotion. A dry, lifeless statement will do nothing. You must read your goal aloud with feeling. Feel the achievement as if it were already real. This emotional involvement creates the state of belief necessary for the mind to begin accepting the goal as possible and eventually inevitable. Desire is the fuel, but it must be focused. Most people drift through life with vague wishes, never deciding what they really want and never creating a plan to get it. They accept whatever life gives them. But those who define a goal with precision, feed it daily with belief, and act with persistence eventually shape their lives around it. Even temporary failure should not weaken desire. In fact, defeat often contains the seed of equal or greater opportunity. Many people give up at the first sign of difficulty, but the truly successful learn from failure. They adjust their plans, not their goals. They keep moving forward because their desire outweighs their fear. One of the most tragic facts of human behavior is how easily people surrender their dreams. They let go of their deepest desires because of fear, doubt, criticism, or delay. But every person has within them the ability to desire something so strongly that it becomes a reality. That ability is not rare. It is underused. Great power comes from deciding what you want and committing everything to its achievement. When you want something so badly that you are willing to stake your time, energy, and comfort for it, you will find a way. You may not know how to reach the goal in the beginning. That doesn't matter. What matters is the commitment. Once you are fully committed, answers begin to appear. Doors open, people show up, opportunities arise, but only after desire has been made definite. There is a difference between wishing and desiring. Everyone wishes, few decide. Decision transforms the invisible into the visible. You must decide exactly what you want, then back that decision with action and emotion. Only then does desire begin to take shape in the world. Children often demonstrate the purest form of desire. They ask, persist, and refuse to accept no for an answer. They do not analyze obstacles. They focus only on what they want. That same intensity can be cultivated in adulthood, though it must be guided by purpose and plan. Desire is not selfish. It is the starting point of all creative force. Every invention, every act of progress, every contribution to society began with someone who desired to improve something, someone who was not content to accept things as they were. When you develop a desire that becomes stronger than all excuses, stronger than your fear of failure or rejection, you become unstoppable. Others may see it as obsession, but that obsession is often the mark of every extraordinary achievement. The world does not reward the indifferent. It rewards the committed. Success is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice, and that choice begins with desire. Not a weak, passing impulse, but a clear and burning goal that defines your direction and commands your effort. Everything begins there. Every plan, every effort, every change. Without desire, there is no start, no drive, no finish. But with it, when it burns brightly and relentlessly, there is no limit to what can be done. Tabshar. Chapter 3. Faith, visualization of and belief in the attainment of desire. Faith is the foundation of all great achievements. It is the force that transforms desire into reality. Without it, desire fades into wishful thinking. With it, desire gains form, direction, and power. Faith is more than just belief in a higher power. It is belief in oneself, belief in the process, and belief in the certainty of achieving what is clearly imagined and deeply desired. The mind does not distinguish between real and imagined experiences when they are deeply emotional and repeated often. Through visualization and affirmations, faith is cultivated. It becomes the link between the conscious mind and the subconscious, the bridge between thought and manifestation. Faith is not a passive feeling. It is a mental state developed by habit and reinforced by repetition. When faith and desire combine, they become a magnet that attracts success. They alter thought patterns, influence actions, and reshape perception. Faith removes doubt. Doubt is the killer of dreams. It interrupts momentum, fosters hesitation, and ultimately causes failure. But when belief is strong, fear disappears. The mind, once plagued by uncertainty, becomes focused and resilient. All thoughts that are emotionalized and mixed with faith begin to translate themselves into their physical equivalent. This is not speculation. It is a principle demonstrated repeatedly throughout history. Great leaders, inventors, and builders of empires all had an unshakable belief in their vision, long before anyone else believed it possible. They saw it in their minds first, then worked tirelessly until it became real. The subconscious mind accepts what the conscious mind repeatedly believes, whether true or false. This is where the danger and the power lie. If fear, doubt, and negativity dominate one's thoughts, the subconscious will act on those ideas just as readily as it will on thoughts of success, confidence, and abundance. Therefore, it is essential to deliberately feed the subconscious with positive, purposeful thoughts. This process begins with autosuggestion, the repeated verbal or mental statement of one's goals and affirmations. By repeating a written statement of desire daily with emotion and confidence, the mind begins to accept it as reality. The repetition of belief creates faith. Over time, this practice saturates the subconscious, creating new habits of thought and behavior. It is not necessary to fully believe at first. In fact, most people begin with uncertainty, but consistent repetition, especially when combined with strong feeling, gradually turns hope into belief and belief into conviction. Faith can be developed. It is not something you either have or don't have. It is something you build like a muscle through mental discipline. Consider this. Every man who achieves anything of real value first believes he can do it. He sees it in his mind. He speaks it aloud. He lives with it mentally before it becomes visible in the world. This is not coincidence. It is the natural process by which thoughts become things. The mind is influenced by the dominant thoughts held in consciousness. It attracts to itself people, circumstances, and resources that correspond to those thoughts. The law is simple. Like attracts like. If you believe in poverty, failure, or limitation, you will unconsciously act in ways that bring those conditions about. If you believe in success, abundance, and growth, your actions and environment will begin to align accordingly. Faith is the antidote to fear. They cannot coexist. One must dominate, and the mind always gravitates toward the stronger influence. This is why building faith is so crucial. It becomes a protective shield against doubt and negativity. When faith is strong, the mind does not waver. It does not give up. It presses forward regardless of obstacles. The emotion behind faith is key. Dry repetition of words will not influence the subconscious. But when affirmations are spoken with emotion, as though the outcome is already real, they gain power. The subconscious responds to emotion, not logic. That's why it is so important to feel the words, not just say them. This process is not new. Religious traditions have used it for centuries. Repetition of prayers, affirmations, rituals, all serve to build belief. The same method can be applied to any purpose, whether spiritual, personal, or financial. Repetition, backed by emotion, creates belief. Belief creates action. Action creates results. One of the most powerful uses of faith is in visualization. When a person sees a goal clearly in their mind, accompanied by the feeling of having already achieved it, the mind begins to work on making that image a reality. The clearer the image and the stronger the emotion, the more powerful the influence on behavior and outcomes. Visualization is not fantasy. It is mental rehearsal. Just as an athlete visualizes a perfect performance before stepping onto the field, you must visualize success in your own life. See the outcome, feel the confidence, hear the voices, taste the reward. This mental exercise begins to shape how you act and how others respond to you. Faith is necessary not only at the beginning of a goal, but throughout the entire journey. There will be times when progress seems invisible, when doubt tries to return, and when failure tempts you to quit. In those moments, faith becomes the sustaining force. It holds your vision steady when circumstances seem to contradict it. The ability to maintain belief in the face of adversity is one of the defining traits of successful individuals. They do not surrender to temporary defeat. They do not base their belief on what is seen, but on what is known in their mind, in their gut, in their heart. They have trained themselves to believe beyond current results. That is real faith. Some people are born with natural confidence, most are not, but all can develop faith through disciplined effort. Start with a small goal. Write it down, repeat it daily, visualize it clearly, speak it aloud with emotion, live with it, adjust your actions to match it. Over time, the results will come, not because of magic, but because belief leads to clarity, clarity leads to action, and action produces outcomes. Your inner world shapes your outer world. Faith is the architect of your inner world. It gives structure to your thoughts and stability to your efforts. It is what allows you to persist when logic says to quit, to act when others hesitate, to build when others doubt. It gives you strength, not from circumstances, but from conviction. Every person is influenced by what they believe, about themselves, about life, about what is possible. If those beliefs are negative, progress is slow and painful, but if they are positive and deliberate, growth becomes steady, natural, and often extraordinary. The mind is a tool. It accepts whatever you feed it. If you feed it doubt, it will produce fear. If you feed it belief, it will produce faith. You are the operator. You decide which voice becomes dominant. You decide which thoughts are repeated, which feelings are cultivated, and which mental pictures are accepted as real. Faith is not reserved for the religious, the gifted, or the fortunate. It is the property of anyone who chooses to believe. And belief is a choice, a conscious, deliberate decision to focus on what you want, to imagine its fulfillment, and to act as though it were already true. In the journey toward success, faith is the fuel. It keeps you moving even when the path is unclear. It shapes your habits, your words, your relationships, and your results. Without it, desire fades. But with it, desire becomes unstoppable. Believe deeply. Speak with conviction. Act with purpose. The mind responds to what it believes. Make sure what it believes is worthy of your greatest ambitions. Chapter 4, Autosuggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. Autosuggestion is the bridge between your conscious thoughts and your subconscious mind. It is the tool by which you voluntarily influence your inner world and shape your outer reality. Through autosuggestion, ideas held in the conscious mind, whether rooted in desire, fear, faith, or doubt, are passed down to the subconscious, where they take root and begin to direct behavior, habits, and ultimately results. The subconscious mind operates continuously, whether or not we consciously try to influence it. It absorbs whatever is repeated to it with emotion and belief, without judgment or logic. It cannot distinguish between truth or falsehood, good or bad, real or imagined. It simply accepts whatever is impressed upon it, especially through repetition, feeling, and focused attention. This is where the power and danger of autosuggestion lies. Most people are constantly engaged in autosuggestion, but they do it unconsciously and negatively. They repeat to themselves thoughts like, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, this is too hard, or nothing ever works for me. Over time, these thoughts sink into the subconscious and begin to form beliefs. Those beliefs shape behavior, decisions, and outcomes, leading to lives limited by self-imposed boundaries. But this process can be reversed and controlled. When autosuggestion is used deliberately, it becomes a powerful tool for transformation. You can plant any idea into your subconscious mind through repetition and emotion. Once the subconscious accepts an idea as true, it works ceaselessly to bring that idea into physical form. It influences your habits, your self-image, your level of confidence, and your ability to act. This is how thought becomes reality, not instantly, but consistently. The process of conscious autosuggestion begins with a clear, definite goal. You must know exactly what you want. Vague desires produce vague results. The goal should be written down in precise terms. How much, by when, and what you intend to give in return. This written statement becomes the foundation of your autosuggestion routine. You must read this statement aloud with emotion and belief twice daily, once in the morning and once before sleep. As you read it, visualize yourself already in possession of your goal. Feel the satisfaction, hear the sounds, imagine the details. The more clearly you can see it, and the more intensely you can feel it, the faster the subconscious will accept it. It is important to speak in the present tense, not I will have, but I now have. The subconscious does not operate on future promises. It responds to the emotionalized belief that something already exists. When this belief is repeated enough, it begins to take over thought patterns, which in turn influence choices, attitudes, and behavior. Do not be discouraged if the process feels unnatural at first. Most people are not used to speaking positively about their desires. The habit of negative autosuggestion formed over years is strong. Replacing it takes time and persistence, but each repetition strengthens the new idea. Eventually, belief begins to grow. What once felt like fantasy becomes a deeply held truth. The key is emotion. The subconscious responds to feeling, not just words. A lifeless repetition of a statement will accomplish nothing. You must say it as though your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your emotional state while repeating the affirmation determines whether it takes root. Speak with enthusiasm, conviction, urgency. Stir up the feelings associated with having what you desire. This is what activates the subconscious. You may wonder why repetition is necessary. The answer is simple. The subconscious is already filled with years, perhaps decades, of opposing thoughts, doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs. A few positive thoughts are not enough to overcome them. You must flood the subconscious with a new message consistently and powerfully until it replaces the old patterns. Every time you repeat your affirmation, you strengthen your belief, and belief is the core of achievement. Belief leads to certainty. Certainty leads to action, and action, when aligned with desire, leads to results. To support this process, you must guard your mind throughout the day. What you say to yourself matters. What you allow others to say to you matters. What you listen to, watch, read, and repeat all matter. You cannot expect your autosuggestion to work if you spend the rest of the day feeding your mind with doubt, fear, and failure. Your environment must align with your purpose. You will find that the thoughts you plant begin to show up in subtle ways. You'll notice ideas you hadn't considered before. People with similar goals will begin to appear. Opportunities will emerge that match the vision you have repeatedly affirmed. This is not coincidence. It is the mind's natural response to focused thought. Autosuggestion is not magic, it is mental conditioning. It is the process by which you train your mind to accept new beliefs, and as those beliefs become dominant, your entire life begins to shift to match them. Behavior changes, motivation increases, action becomes natural. Success begins to feel inevitable because your inner world is aligned with your outer goals. There are some who will dismiss this process as unrealistic or unscientific, but they fail to understand the power of the subconscious. Every invention, every breakthrough, every major success was preceded by belief. No one achieves anything until they first believe they can. Autosuggestion is the tool that builds that belief, brick by brick. There are countless examples of people who have changed their lives using this method. Men and women who began in poverty, obscurity, or failure, and who rose to wealth, influence, and fulfillment. They did not do so by accident. They began with a thought, and they used autosuggestion to turn that thought into reality. The method is available to anyone, regardless of background, education, or current condition. If you want more from life, you must take control of your thinking. You must stop letting circumstances dictate your beliefs and begin shaping your beliefs to change your circumstances. Autosuggestion is how you do that. It gives you the power to rewrite your inner story. And when the inner story changes, the outer experience follows. The subconscious mind is like fertile soil. It does not care what you plant. It will grow whatever seed you sow. If you plant fear, doubt, and failure, it will grow more of the same. But if you plant faith, purpose, and determination, those seeds will grow just as surely. You are the gardener. You decide what goes in. And through autosuggestion, you make sure the right seeds take root. There is no shortcut, no secret trick. There is only the steady, disciplined application of the principles. Write your goal. Read it aloud. Visualize it with feeling. Repeat it daily. Live with it. Let it shape your thoughts, your decisions, your habits. Over time, the results will become visible. Never underestimate the power of the spoken word, especially when directed inward. What you say to yourself becomes your reality. Choose your words with care. Repeat them with purpose. And never stop reinforcing the idea of your success until that success is a fact, not just in your mind, but in the world around you. Autosuggestion gives you access to the most powerful force in your life, your own subconscious mind. Through it, you can direct your thoughts, build unshakable belief, and transform desire into achievement. This is the starting point of control, and control begins with a single decision: to take charge of what you think, say, and believe on purpose every day. Now, Chapter 5: Specialized Knowledge, Personal Experiences or Observations. Knowledge is essential for success, but not just any knowledge. General knowledge, while useful for conversation and culture, is not enough to create lasting achievement. The kind of knowledge that builds fortunes and powers progress is specialized knowledge, knowledge that is directly related to your definite purpose, gained through personal experience, education, or observation, and applied with skill. Specialized knowledge is practical, it is targeted, it is the kind of knowledge that solves problems, fills gaps, and opens doors. It does not require formal schooling, though formal education can help. It can be acquired from books, mentors, direct experience, or even from those who work alongside you. The key is that it is relevant and actionable. Many people believe that success depends on how much general knowledge they have. They collect facts, read widely, and seek to appear intelligent. But this does not translate into results. In fact, overaccumulation of irrelevant information often leads to confusion, distraction, and indecision. Without focus, knowledge becomes noise. Specialized knowledge, on the other hand, is the difference between wishing and achieving. It equips you with the tools necessary to solve specific problems related to your goals. It empowers you to take action with confidence and clarity. Think of the great inventors and entrepreneurs, people like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Andrew Carnegie. They did not merely know many things. They knew specific things about their industries and applied that knowledge relentlessly. Edison's thousands of experiments were not random. Each was a deliberate step toward mastering his field. Ford's knowledge of manufacturing techniques was highly specialized, and it revolutionized industry. Specialized knowledge comes in two forms: acquired and organized. Acquired knowledge is what you learn through study or experience. Organized knowledge is the ability to take that information and apply it in a systematic, efficient way. You do not need to be the ultimate expert in your field to succeed. Many successful people surround themselves with experts and gain from their specialized knowledge. This is where the principle of the mastermind comes into play, but more on that later. Your role is to acquire enough specialized knowledge to make wise decisions and to know when to seek assistance. It is important to understand that knowledge alone will not make you rich or successful. Knowledge must be organized and used. Many people possess knowledge but fail because they do not put it into action. Success requires both knowing what to do and doing it consistently. The most valuable knowledge is often learned outside the classroom, in the field, through trial and error, and by paying attention to real-world problems. Personal experiences and observations are among the richest sources of specialized knowledge. They provide insights that cannot be found in books. Every setback, failure, and success carries a lesson. Observing the behavior of customers, the flow of a market, or the habits of competitors can reveal opportunities that others overlook. The keen observer who acts on what they see gains a powerful advantage. The acquisition of specialized knowledge is a continuous process. The world changes, markets evolve, technologies advance. To stay ahead, you must be willing to learn constantly and adapt your knowledge accordingly. Stagnation in knowledge leads to stagnation in results. If you lack knowledge in the area of your chosen purpose, there are several ways to acquire it. 1. Self-education. Read books, attend seminars, watch instructional content, and study successful people in your field. 2. Apprenticeship. Work under someone who has mastered the knowledge you seek. Learn through observation, practice, and feedback. 3. Networking. Join groups, clubs, or associations where knowledge is shared and ideas exchanged. 4. Hiring experts. Bring in specialists to fill gaps in your knowledge and advise on critical decisions. 5. Experimentation. Use trial and error to test ideas and gain firsthand experience. All knowledge, regardless of how it is acquired, must be applied toward a definite end. Random knowledge leads nowhere. Purposeful knowledge builds success. Another vital point is that wealth often flows to those who know how to use knowledge effectively, not necessarily to those who possess the most. Application beats accumulation. It is better to master a small, powerful piece of knowledge and put it into action than to have mountains of information that remain unused. There is also a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is information. Wisdom is the ability to apply that information with sound judgment. Developing wisdom comes from experience, learning what works, what doesn't, and why. Do not underestimate the value of your personal experiences. Your failures are not setbacks, but lessons. Your observations are clues. Your successes are evidence of what works. Use them to build specialized knowledge tailored to your unique purpose. One of the most common mistakes is waiting until you feel ready or qualified to take action. Many delay because they think they lack enough knowledge. The truth is, you learn by doing. You gain specialized knowledge through the process of pursuing your goal, not just before. The willingness to learn and adapt is more valuable than any pre-existing knowledge. Remember, specialized knowledge is worthless unless it is organized and intelligently directed. Without a plan, knowledge is like scattered seeds thrown on rocky ground. Nothing will grow. When organized with a clear purpose, it becomes a powerful tool. The key steps to use specialized knowledge effectively are: define your definite chief aim. Identify the knowledge required to achieve it. Acquire that knowledge by any means necessary. Organize and apply the knowledge through practical plans. Continue learning and adapting as you progress. In the end, specialized knowledge is your competitive advantage. It gives you the ability to solve problems, innovate, and create value. It positions you as someone capable and trustworthy. It opens doors and attracts opportunities. The accumulation and use of specialized knowledge is one of the most practical steps anyone can take on the path to success. It is the foundation upon which plans are built and action is taken. It is not glamorous, but it is essential. Success rewards those who master the details. You may have the greatest desire in the world, and you may believe deeply in your goal, but without the knowledge to act intelligently, your efforts will falter. That is why specialized knowledge is a pillar of achievement. It bridges the gap between dreaming and doing. Make acquiring specialized knowledge a priority. Seek it out relentlessly. Learn from experience, from others, and from your own mistakes. Organize it carefully and apply it boldly. In doing so, you equip yourself with the tools to turn desire and faith into tangible results. Your future depends on the knowledge you build and how you use it. Take control of your learning. Make it purposeful. Make it continuous. Make it the foundation of your journey to success. Chapter 6, Imagination, the workshop of the mind. Imagination is the creative force behind all achievements. It is the workshop of the mind where ideas are born, shaped, and brought to life. Without imagination, desire remains a vague wish and knowledge remains unused information. Imagination turns thought into form, plans into reality, and possibilities into facts. It is the source of all innovation, progress, and success. There are two forms of imagination: synthetic and creative. Synthetic imagination arranges old concepts, ideas, or plans into new combinations. It is the faculty used by salespeople, inventors, and entrepreneurs who adapt existing knowledge to new purposes. Creative imagination, on the other hand, is the ability to generate entirely new ideas. It taps into the subconscious mind and higher levels of inspiration, often resulting in breakthrough discoveries. Both forms are essential. Synthetic imagination is practical and often used to improve processes, products, or methods. Creative imagination is rarer, more spontaneous, and linked to moments of genius. Together, they provide the mental tools necessary for success. The imagination can be likened to a workshop where mental drafts and prototypes are tested before being made real. When a definite desire and faith combine, imagination steps in to devise plans and solutions. It visualizes how to turn abstract thoughts into concrete action. Successful people actively cultivate their imagination. They use it intentionally to visualize their goals, develop plans, and anticipate obstacles. They spend time thinking creatively, brainstorming ideas, and experimenting mentally with different scenarios. This mental practice prepares them for real-world challenges. Imagination does not operate in isolation. It is fueled by knowledge and desire. Knowledge supplies the raw materials, the facts, data, and information needed. Desire provides the motive power, the energy that drives imagination to work. Without desire, the mind is passive. Without knowledge, the imagination has nothing to build on. The creative process begins with a definite goal and a burning desire to achieve it. Then, through imagination, ideas begin to take shape. You may not see the full path at once, but fragments and possibilities emerge. These fragments are clues, signals from your subconscious that guide your conscious efforts. It is crucial to nurture imagination with a positive mental environment. Fear, doubt, and negativity stifle creativity. They cloud the mind and reduce its ability to think clearly and expansively. Conversely, faith and enthusiasm open the mind to new possibilities and heighten mental clarity. Many people do not realize that their imagination can be trained and improved. It is not a gift reserved for artists or inventors. Every person can develop their creative faculties by practicing focused thinking, visualization, and open-mindedness. Setting aside time for mental experimentation and reflection sharpens the imagination. Imagination is also the source of new plans and strategies. When faced with a problem, the person with a well-developed imagination is able to see multiple solutions and select the best one. They can adjust plans quickly in response to changing circumstances because their mind has rehearsed possibilities in advance. All plans, whether simple or complex, start as images in the mind. The clearer and more detailed the mental picture, the more effective the plan will be. Vague ideas produce vague results. The ability to imagine the end result with precision and clarity improves decision-making and execution. One of the greatest barriers to success is mental laziness, the unwillingness to think deeply or creatively. Many people settle for familiar routines and old ideas, avoiding the effort of using imagination to innovate. But success belongs to those who are willing to push beyond the obvious, explore alternatives, and think differently. Imagination also plays a vital role in overcoming obstacles. When difficulties arise, the imaginative mind searches for new paths, alternative methods, or innovative solutions. It refuses to accept defeat as final and instead sees failure as a challenge to be solved. The power of imagination is evident throughout history. Every invention, every artistic masterpiece, every breakthrough in science or business was first imagined. The airplane was once an idea in a person's mind. The telephone, the light bulb, the computer, none existed until someone imagined their possibility and worked to bring that vision to life. It is important to understand that imagination works best when paired with action. Mental creation alone will not produce results. The ideas generated in the mind must be translated into plans and executed with persistence. Imagination fuels progress, but action is the engine that moves it forward. To harness imagination effectively, follow these guidelines. Define your purpose clearly. Know what you want to achieve. Feed your mind with specialized knowledge. Gather facts and data relevant to your goal. Use your imagination regularly. Visualize your success. Think creatively about challenges and opportunities. Practice visualization with emotion. Feel the reality of your goal as if it were already accomplished. Be open to new ideas. Suspend judgment temporarily and allow your mind to explore possibilities. Write down your ideas and plans. Organizing thoughts solidifies them. Take action on your best ideas. Test and refine through experience. A well-developed imagination also increases confidence. When you see a clear mental picture of success, your belief in its possibility grows stronger. This confidence influences your behavior and attracts the cooperation of others. The imagination can also be hindered by fear. Fear of failure, ridicule, or the unknown limits mental freedom and creativity. Overcoming fear is essential to unlocking your full imaginative power. Faith and persistence help break down these barriers. Another way to stimulate imagination is through association, interacting with diverse people, experiences, and ideas. Exposure to different perspectives and fields broadens your mental horizons and sparks new combinations of thought. Ultimately, imagination is the key to transformation. It allows you to move beyond your current reality and create a new one. It is the mental workshop where your dreams are forged into plans, your plans into actions, and your actions into success. Without imagination, knowledge remains inert, desire remains unfulfilled, and faith remains vague. But with imagination, these forces combine to build a powerful engine for achievement. Develop your imagination with discipline and enthusiasm. Use it as your most valuable workshop. There is no limit to what you can create when your mind is free to explore, innovate, and believe. Your future depends on the images you hold in your mind today. Choose them wisely and watch as they become the foundation of your success. Chapter 7. Organized planning, the crystallization of desire into action. Desire alone is not enough to achieve success. A strong wish, even combined with faith and imagination, will remain nothing but potential unless it is channeled through organized planning, the deliberate process of turning thought into action. Organized planning is the essential step that crystallizes your desire into a clear, actionable blueprint for success. Every major achievement in history began with a plan. Without a plan, desire is scattered energy, wasted effort, and often failure. Planning gives structure, direction, and purpose to your efforts. It turns vague ambitions into specific tasks and measurable goals. Without it, success is left to chance, dependent on luck or external circumstances. The power of organized planning lies in its ability to coordinate resources, time, and action toward a defined goal. It aligns your knowledge, imagination, and faith into a coherent strategy. This strategy guides your steps, allows you to track progress, and provides a framework to adjust when obstacles arise. The first step in organized planning is to clue clearly your definite chief aim, the precise goal you want to achieve. This is not a general desire, but a specific objective, quantified and dated. Clarity here is crucial because a fuzzy goal leads to fuzzy plans and uncertain results. Once your definite goal is set, the next step is to draft a practical plan to achieve it. This plan should break down the goal into actionable steps, allocate resources, and establish deadlines. The plan is your map, showing you how to get from where you are now to where you want to be. It is common to face setbacks and failures when carrying out a plan. Organized planning requires flexibility and persistence. Plans are not carved in stone. They are working documents that must be revised and improved as you gather new information and face changing conditions. The ability to adapt without losing sight of the ultimate goal is a hallmark of successful people. Many people fail not because they lack desire or knowledge, but because they do not take the time to plan or because they abandon their plans at the first sign of difficulty. Success demands persistence, discipline, and willingness to revise strategies while maintaining focus on the objective. Another key aspect of organized planning is the mastermind group, a group of trusted individuals who provide knowledge, counsel, and support. No one can succeed entirely alone. The collective brainpower, experience, and cooperation of others multiply your ability to plan effectively and execute efficiently. This group acts as a sounding board, offering feedback, resources, and encouragement. Your mastermind group should consist of people with specialized knowledge and skills complementary to your own. They hold pieces of the puzzle you cannot see alone. Their ideas and advice often reveal blind spots and open new paths. When developing plans, avoid the trap of procrastination or overanalysis. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Begin immediately, even if your plan is incomplete. Action creates momentum, and momentum leads to refinement and success. Waiting for the perfect moment or plan often leads to endless delay. Clear priorities within your plan are vital. Identify the most important tasks that will move you closer to your goal. Focus your time and energy on high-impact activities rather than distractions or busy work. Organized planning helps you eliminate wasted effort and concentrate on what matters. Time management is an integral part of organized planning. Assign deadlines and create schedules. Use lists and reminders to stay on track. Without structure, it is easy to lose focus and allow distractions to derail your progress. Financial planning must also be considered. Budget your resources wisely. Ensure that you allocate money, materials, and manpower efficiently. A well-organized plan accounts for the costs of action and ensures you have what you need to execute. Failure to plan financially is a common cause of business collapse and personal setbacks. A clear budget, expense tracking, and contingency reserves safeguard your progress. The plan should also include contingency strategies, alternative courses of action if your original plan encounters obstacles. Flexibility in planning allows you to respond quickly to setbacks without losing momentum. Record your plan in writing. A written plan clarifies your thinking and holds you accountable. It becomes a reference point to monitor progress, celebrate milestones, and identify areas needing adjustment. Visualization complements organized planning. As you develop your plan, visualize each step and the successful completion of your goal. This mental rehearsal strengthens your faith and motivation. In addition to self-planning, seeking mentorship or guidance from experienced individuals accelerates your success. Learning from those who have achieved what you desire helps you avoid common mistakes and adopt proven strategies. Organized planning is also about discipline, the commitment to follow through. A plan without consistent execution is useless. Discipline turns planning into habit and action into results. Set daily, weekly, and monthly goals aligned with your larger plan. Review your progress regularly and adjust as needed. It is crucial to maintain a positive mindset throughout the planning and execution process. Doubt, fear, or frustration can derail even the best plans. Cultivating faith and persistence enables you to push through difficult times. Remember, no one achieves success alone. The ability to organize your own efforts and coordinate with others creates exponential power. Teams, partnerships, and networks multiply what one person can do. Leverage these relationships in your planning. In summary, organized planning is the bridge between desire and accomplishment. It transforms vague hopes into concrete steps, making success predictable rather than accidental. It requires clarity of purpose, detailed strategy, flexibility, and relentless execution. To master organized planning, define your definite chief aim, create a detailed, actionable plan, establish deadlines and priorities, build a mastermind group for support and knowledge. Start immediately. Do not wait for perfection. Manage your time and finances carefully. Develop contingency plans. Record and review your plan regularly. Seek mentorship and expert advice. Commit to disciplined execution. Maintain a positive, persistent mindset. When you learn to organize your plans and execute them systematically, you take control of your destiny. Organized planning transforms desire into tangible results and lays the foundation for lasting success. It turns dreams into realities, one step at a time. Chapter 8, Decision, the Mastery of Procrastination. Decision is the ability to make choices promptly and clearly. It is one of the most important qualities for success. The habit of making firm decisions quickly and changing them slowly, if at all, separates successful individuals from those who fail or stagnate. Procrastination, the opposite of decision, is a major cause of failure. Mastering the art of decision is mastering the art of action. Indecision breeds fear, doubt, and missed opportunities. When a person delays decisions, they give their mind room to wander into worry and hesitation. This leads to lost time, wasted energy, and diminished confidence. Success requires the willingness to decide, and to decide decisively. The majority of people fail to reach their goals because they hesitate too long, waiting for perfect conditions, more information, or external validation. This hesitation is often disguised as prudence, but is usually fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of the unknown, all lead to indecision. The successful person understands that no decision is ever perfectly safe or guaranteed. Every choice involves risk, but decisive individuals accept risk as a necessary part of progress. They make the best choice they can with the information available, act on it, and learn as they go. This approach generates momentum, learning, and ultimately, results. History is filled with examples of people who succeeded because they made decisions quickly and stuck to them. Conversely, many who failed did so because they were too slow to act or constantly changed their minds. Indecision creates confusion, wastes energy, and signals to others a lack of confidence. One way to develop decisiveness is to train yourself to decide promptly on small matters. This builds the mental muscle necessary for bigger decisions. Avoid overthinking minor choices. Practice trusting your judgment and moving forward. Fear and doubt are the primary enemies of decision. When fear controls the mind, it paralyzes it. Overcoming fear requires cultivating faith. Faith in your ability, your purpose, and the process. Faith sharpens your mind and strengthens your resolve. Another habit of decisive people is that they do not procrastinate. Procrastination is the habit of putting off until tomorrow what should be done today. It drains energy and lowers self esteem. It builds a wall of excuses between desire and achievement. Procrastination can be overcome by creating a sense of urgency. Set deadlines, impose discipline, and hold yourself accountable. Break tasks into manageable steps to avoid overwhelm. Taking even small actions immediately reduces the tendency to delay. It is also important to avoid the habit of following the crowd blindly. Many people avoid making decisions by relying on the opinions of others, which often leads nowhere. Successful individuals take responsibility for their choices. They seek advice, but they make their own decisions based on their definite purpose. The ability to decide quickly also fosters confidence and respect from others. People are drawn to leaders who can make clear choices and act on them. This quality enhances personal magnetism and influence. Sometimes decisions require courage to go against popular opinion, to risk criticism, or to face failure. But courage is not the absence of fear, it is the mastery of fear. It is the ability to act despite fear. Changing decisions is acceptable only when new evidence or experience clearly shows a better path. Indecisive people constantly change their minds out of doubt or confusion, which undermines their progress. Once a decision is made, commit to it fully. Decision-making also involves balancing thought and action. Overanalysis leads to paralysis, while rashness leads to mistakes. The key is to gather sufficient information, set a deadline, and then act decisively. Written goals and plans help support decision-making by providing a clear framework. When you know exactly what you want and how to get it, your decisions become easier and more focused. Your subconscious mind also plays a role in decision. When you repeatedly feed it clear, emotionalized goals through autosuggestion, it prepares you to make decisions aligned with those goals. Faith and desire sharpen your intuition and judgment. Finally, decision is closely linked to persistence. Once a decision is made, persistence ensures you follow through despite difficulties. Giving up after a failed attempt is common among indecisive people. Persistent decision makers see failure as temporary and part of the learning process. To develop mastery of decision and defeat procrastination, practice the following. Recognize and confront fear and doubt. Develop a definite chief aim to guide your decisions. Train yourself to make small decisions quickly and confidently. Set deadlines to avoid procrastination. Break tasks into manageable steps. Take full responsibility for your choices. Avoid over-reliance on others' opinions. Commit fully to decisions once made. Use your written goals and plans as guides. Cultivate faith in yourself and your purpose. Persist through obstacles and setbacks. Mastering decision is essential to taking control of your life. Without it, even the best plans and strongest desires falter. With it, you move swiftly toward your goals, turning intention into reality. Decide now to develop this habit. Choose to act promptly and confidently. The mastery of decision will break down the barriers of procrastination and lead you to success. Chapter 9. Persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Persistence is the quality that separates those who succeed from those who fail. It is the sustained effort, the unwavering commitment to keep pushing forward despite obstacles, setbacks, or discouragement. Without persistence, even the strongest desires and clearest plans remain nothing but empty intentions. Persistence is what transforms a fleeting wish into lasting achievement. It is the force that carries you through difficulty and fuels the faith necessary to reach your goals. Every success story is built on persistence. The world's greatest achievers did not reach their heights because they avoided failure or hardship. On the contrary, they encountered setbacks, endured defeats, and faced countless obstacles. What distinguished them was their refusal to quit. They kept going when others gave up. They stayed committed to their purpose, no matter the cost. This is the essence of persistence, the ability to maintain effort and belief long after initial enthusiasm fades. People often mistake talent or intelligence as the key to success. While these can help, they are not enough without persistence. Many talented individuals fail simply because they lack the perseverance to keep working when progress is slow or problems arise. Persistence can make an average person outperform a genius who gives up too soon. It is the power that bridges the gap between desire and accomplishment. Persistence is born from desire. A weak or vague desire produces weak persistence. Only a definite, burning desire creates the energy and motivation necessary to keep going when obstacles arise. When a goal becomes a consuming obsession, persistence flows naturally. It carries a person beyond fatigue, fear, or temporary failure. This persistence is not a fleeting impulse, but a habit cultivated through conscious effort and mental discipline. Unlike talent or intelligence, persistence is not an innate trait reserved for a lucky few. It is a habit that anyone can develop. Like a muscle, the more it is exercised, the stronger it becomes. Each time a person pushes beyond a challenge or recovers from failure, their persistence grows. Over time, persistence builds confidence, reinforces faith, and enhances resilience, enabling greater achievements. The subconscious mind plays a powerful role in persistence. It responds to the dominant thoughts and feelings a person feeds it. Negative thoughts, fear, doubt, worry undermine persistence by draining motivation and confidence. Positive thoughts, faith, determination, desire strengthen it by bolstering commitment and resolve. Controlling mental attitude is therefore essential to cultivating persistence. A positive mental environment nourishes the will to persist. Persistence requires a positive mental attitude. The people around you, your environment, and your daily habits influence your ability to sustain effort. Surrounding yourself with supportive, motivated individuals encourages persistence, while negativity and doubt sap it. Cultivating a mindset of optimism and confidence fuels the mental energy necessary to keep going. Daily affirmations and self-suggestion are valuable tools for building persistence. Repeating your definite purpose and affirming your ability to succeed conditions your subconscious mind to support your efforts. This mental reinforcement helps maintain desire and faith even when external results lag. Persistence thrives when backed by strong belief. Failure is an inevitable part of the journey toward any significant goal. Those who persist view failure not as defeat, but as feedback and a learning opportunity. They analyze mistakes, adjust their plans, and try again. Failure becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. This mindset is crucial because giving up after setbacks guarantees failure. Persistence in spite of failure leads to success. Patience is intertwined with persistence. Achieving great goals rarely happens overnight. Many abandon their ambitions prematurely because they expect immediate results. Persistence means embracing the long-term nature of success. It is the commitment to steady progress, no matter how slow or difficult. Endurance and resilience develop over time through persistent effort. Procrastination is one of the biggest enemies of persistence. Delaying action weakens momentum, lowers confidence, and creates anxiety. It builds a backlog of unfinished tasks that seem overwhelming. To combat procrastination, cultivating urgency and discipline is vital. Setting deadlines, committing publicly, and breaking large tasks into smaller steps encourages immediate action and sustains momentum. Organized planning and a definite chief aim give persistence direction and purpose. When you have a clear goal and a detailed plan, doubts and confusion lessen, strengthening resolve. Without clarity, persistence can waver because the mind lacks focus. Likewise, a mastermind group, a trusted circle of advisors and supporters, can provide encouragement, advice, and accountability, helping you persist through tough times. Persistence also means stepping outside your comfort zone. Fear of failure, criticism, or the unknown can stop many in their tracks. Courage and persistence go hand in hand. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. Each act of persistence builds courage, making future challenges easier to face. Persistent people do not let fear dictate their actions. Motivation ebbs and flows, but persistence demands discipline, the ability to keep going regardless of feelings. Discipline turns intentions into consistent habits. Creating routines and systems supports persistence by making effort automatic. Accountability to yourself and others strengthens this discipline while keeping you committed through dry spells. Over time, persistence transforms character. It builds confidence, mental toughness, and a belief in one's ability to overcome any obstacle. This growing faith feeds persistence, creating a positive feedback loop. The more you persist, the stronger your belief becomes, and the easier it is to persist further. Many who fail to succeed have all the tools but lack persistence. They become discouraged by early failures or slow progress and abandon their efforts. Successful people accept failure as part of the process and remain steadfast. They understand that perseverance through difficulty is what separates winners from quitters. The power of persistence is seen in every great achievement throughout history. Inventors, entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders all faced repeated rejection, doubt, and hardship, yet they persisted until their vision became reality. Their persistence was fueled by a clear purpose, faith, and the refusal to accept defeat. Persistence is not about blind stubbornness. It requires flexibility and the willingness to adjust plans when necessary. Sticking rigidly to a failing approach is foolish, but giving up entirely is fatal. Persistent people analyze setbacks, learn lessons, and adapt strategies while maintaining focus on their ultimate goal. Mental fatigue and discouragement are common barriers to persistence. Developing techniques for mental renewal, such as rest, exercise, meditation, or change of environment, helps sustain long-term effort. Persistence is not about exhausting yourself, but about steady, consistent progress with periodic recovery. The relationship between persistence and faith is profound. Faith is strengthened through persistent effort. As you persist, you accumulate evidence of your capability and progress, reinforcing your belief in eventual success. This growing faith then fuels further persistence, creating a powerful cycle. To cultivate persistence is to choose to never give up, no matter how difficult the circumstances. It is to commit to the process, understanding that all worthwhile achievements require time, effort, and sacrifice. Persistence turns a dream into a plan, and a plan into reality. In life, obstacles will arise, setbacks will occur, and failures will test your resolve. Your ability to persist through these challenges will determine your success or failure. The strength of your persistence is the true measure of your commitment to your goals. Decide now to embrace persistence as your constant companion. Commit to sustained effort, to rising every time you fall, and to maintaining faith in your purpose. With persistence, you will overcome barriers, conquer doubts, and achieve the success you desire. It is persistence that ultimately turns desire into achievement, making the impossible possible. Chapter 10, Power of the Mastermind, the Driving Force. Success is rarely a solitary journey. Behind every great achievement, there is often a network of minds working together, a collective intelligence greater than the sum of its parts. This union of minds is what Napoleon Hill calls the mastermind. The mastermind is the harmonious coordination of two or more minds committed to a definite purpose. It is a driving force, an energy multiplier, and a source of power that no individual can easily achieve alone. The mastermind concept goes beyond simple collaboration or teamwork. It is a deliberate and organized alliance where individuals pool their knowledge, experience, and efforts toward a common goal. This alliance creates a synergy that opens new pathways, sparks creative ideas, and accelerates progress. The combined energy generated by a mastermind group can overcome obstacles that would otherwise seem insurmountable. At its core, the mastermind is a form of mental partnership. Each member contributes unique strengths, perspectives, and resources. This diversity fuels innovation and problem solving, allowing the group to tackle challenges more effectively. When minds work in harmony, the group's collective intelligence becomes greater than the sum of individual contributions. This is the essence of synergy, and it is a fundamental principle in achieving extraordinary success. The power of the mastermind also lies in its ability to influence the subconscious mind. The subconscious absorbs and reacts to the dominant thoughts surrounding it. When you surround yourself with like-minded, positive, and ambitious individuals, your own thoughts and beliefs are reinforced. This supportive environment fosters confidence, determination, and a heightened sense of possibility. The subconscious mind thrives on this collective energy, fueling creativity and persistence. Napoleon Hill emphasizes that no person can accumulate great wealth or achieve significant success without the aid of others. The mastermind supplies the coordination, cooperation, and combined effort that turns individual dreams into reality. Many self-made millionaires attribute their success to the influence and support of a mastermind group, people who share vision, offer counsel, and hold one another accountable. A mastermind group acts as a sounding board for ideas, a source of encouragement during setbacks, and a catalyst for action. When facing difficulties, the collective wisdom and experience of the group help members see new solutions and opportunities. The accountability aspect ensures that goals stay in focus, reducing procrastination and wavering commitment. Members push each other to maintain high standards and consistent effort. The selection of members is crucial to the effectiveness of a mastermind. The group should consist of individuals who are compatible, share similar values and ambitions, and bring complementary skills. Mutual respect and trust form the foundation of productive collaboration. Without harmony and goodwill, the mastermind cannot function effectively. Conflict and competition among members undermine the energy and focus necessary for success. The mastermind can take many forms, from informal gatherings of friends and colleagues to formal business partnerships and advisory boards. Regardless of structure, the key is the shared commitment to a definite chief aim and the willingness to contribute time, energy, and resources. Members invest in one another's success, understanding that their own progress is tied to the group's achievements. The impact of the mastermind extends beyond material gain. It enhances personal growth, broadens perspectives, and builds powerful networks. Members develop skills in leadership, communication, and problem solving. They gain inspiration from others' successes and lessons from their failures. The group becomes a source of motivation and resilience, helping individuals overcome loneliness and discouragement. Napoleon Hill points out that the mastermind is not limited by geography or time. Even individuals separated by distance can form a mastermind through letters, telephone, or other means of communication. The essential element is the unity of purpose and mental harmony. The technology of today makes it easier than ever to create and maintain these powerful alliances. The power of the mastermind is also connected to the concept of the third mind, an intangible creative force that emerges when two or more minds work together harmoniously. This third mind is where new ideas, insights, and inspiration arise. It is a source of innovative thinking that can break through mental barriers and open new possibilities. It is important to understand that the mastermind does not guarantee success by itself. Members must be willing to contribute actively and take responsibility for their own results. The group provides resources, support, and energy, but each individual must act with discipline and persistence. The mastermind amplifies effort but does not replace personal initiative. Establishing a mastermind group requires effort, discernment, and clear communication. Defining the group's purpose, expectations, and meeting structure lays the groundwork for success. Regular meetings provide opportunities to share progress, brainstorm solutions, and hold each other accountable. Consistent participation and honest feedback maintain momentum and trust. Many successful entrepreneurs, inventors, and leaders have attributed their breakthroughs to the influence of a mastermind. The group helped them overcome isolation, gain new perspectives, and stay motivated. It provided the encouragement and resources needed to move forward when the path seemed uncertain. The mastermind becomes a source of strength, inspiration, and practical assistance. The mastermind also offers emotional support, which is critical during difficult times. Success often involves facing criticism, doubt, and failure. Having a group of trusted allies who believe in your vision helps sustain courage and optimism. This emotional fuel can be the difference between giving up and persevering. Beyond individuals, organizations benefit from the mastermind principle. Companies that foster collaboration, knowledge sharing, and collective problem solving innovate faster and adapt better to change. Teams that work in harmony generate energy that drives performance and growth. The culture of cooperation becomes a competitive advantage. In summary, the power of the mastermind is the driving force behind extraordinary achievement. It is the alliance of minds committed to a common purpose, working together in harmony to create something greater than any one member could achieve alone. This union multiplies energy, sparks innovation, reinforces faith, and sustains persistence. To harness this power, seek out like-minded individuals who share your vision and values. Build trust, establish clear goals, and commit to regular collaboration. Contribute your knowledge and resources generously and be open to learning from others. The mastermind will become a source of strength, inspiration, and practical assistance on your journey to success. Remember, no great accomplishment was ever achieved in isolation. The The mastermind is the secret weapon of those who rise above mediocrity and achieve lasting greatness. Embrace this principle, build your own mastermind group, and experience the transformative power it brings. Through the power of the mastermind, you will tap into a limitless reservoir of mental energy and creative genius. This driving force will propel you toward your definite chief aim with greater speed, confidence, and resilience. It will help you overcome obstacles, generate new ideas, and maintain unwavering faith. With the mastermind behind you, success becomes not just a possibility, but an inevitable outcome. Chapter 11: The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. Sex transmutation is one of the most powerful yet least understood principles in the pursuit of success. It involves the transformation of sexual energy, which is one of the strongest natural human impulses, into a creative and productive force. This principle explains how the energy associated with sexual desire, when redirected and controlled, can fuel extraordinary achievements in every area of life, particularly in the realms of personal and financial success. Sexual energy is the most basic and potent form of energy that human beings experience. It is instinctual and deeply rooted in our biology, driving reproduction and survival of the species. However, this energy carries with it far greater potential than mere physical gratification. When harnessed and transmuted, it becomes a dynamic force capable of increasing vitality, creativity, enthusiasm, and motivation. The difference lies in conscious control and purposeful direction. Many of history's most successful people have tapped into this power, often without fully understanding the mechanism behind it. Their sexual energy was transformed into passion for their work, artistic expression, leadership, and inventiveness. The ability to redirect this powerful energy into other forms of achievement is what Napoleon Hill refers to as sex transmutation. At its core, sex transmutation requires an understanding of how energy flows within the body and mind. Sexual energy is not simply a physical drive. It influences thoughts, emotions, and creativity. The sensation of desire can stimulate the brain, releasing chemicals that increase focus and mental acuity. This heightened state, if consciously managed, can be channeled into productive work rather than dissipated through mere physical release. The process of sex transmutation starts with recognizing the power of sexual energy and deciding to control it rather than be controlled by it. This does not mean repression or denial, but rather mastery and purposeful redirection. The energy that might otherwise lead to distraction, impulsive behavior, or wasted vitality is instead used to fuel determination, focus, and creative output. One key to successful transmutation is maintaining a high level of personal magnetism and enthusiasm. Sexual energy enhances charm, charisma, and influence. Individuals who harness this power naturally attract opportunities, collaborators, and resources. This magnetic quality is a valuable asset in business, leadership, and relationships. The mind plays a central role in sex transmutation. Imagination, desire, and emotion interact with sexual energy to amplify its effects. Creative visualization combined with strong emotion can intensify the transmutation process. By focusing sexual energy on a definite purpose or goal, a person directs an intense force toward its achievement. Many great artists, inventors, and leaders have reported that their most productive and inspired moments coincided with periods of intense sexual energy. This energy fueled their creativity, provided mental clarity, and generated the enthusiasm needed to persevere through challenges. Rather than allowing sexual desire to distract them, they converted it into a driving force for innovation and accomplishment. Another aspect of sex transmutation involves cultivating strong emotional connections with others. Love, affection, and emotional intimacy deepen the power of sexual energy. These feelings enhance cooperation, loyalty, and mutual support in personal and professional relationships. When sexual energy is channeled through positive emotional bonds, it creates a supportive environment that fosters growth and success. Sex transmutation is closely linked with self-discipline. Without control and focus, sexual energy can dissipate in ways that undermine achievement. Impulsive behavior, addiction, or careless indulgence can drain vitality and distract from goals. The disciplined person learns to harness and redirect this energy consciously, turning potential distractions into sources of power. The transmutation process also involves physical health and vitality. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate rest enhance the body's capacity to generate and sustain sexual energy. A healthy body supports a vibrant mind and a steady flow of creative force. Neglecting physical health can weaken this energy and reduce the ability to transmute it effectively. Napoleon Hill emphasizes that sexual energy is the creative power behind many successful endeavors. It is the fuel for imagination, persistence, and courage. The ability to transmute sexual energy into creative and productive outlets separates those who achieve extraordinary success from those who do not. This power, when mastered, becomes an unstoppable force. The concept of sex transmutation may be difficult to grasp because it touches on sensitive and private aspects of human nature. Society often stigmatizes open discussion of sexual energy, leading to misunderstanding and misuse. Hill encourages a mature and respectful approach to this principle, recognizing it as a natural and valuable source of power. In practical terms, transmutation means consciously channeling sexual energy into creative projects, business ventures, or personal development. This requires mental focus, clear goals, and emotional balance. When sexual energy is focused on a definite purpose, it intensifies desire, sharpens the mind, and increases stamina. This focused energy creates momentum that propels a person forward. Sex transmutation also enhances personal confidence and self-esteem. Individuals who master this power feel more vital, attractive, and capable. This increased self-assurance influences behavior, improving communication, decision-making, and leadership. Confidence born from transmuted sexual energy attracts others and opens doors to new opportunities. One of the practical challenges is avoiding common pitfalls where sexual energy is wasted or misdirected. Overindulgence, addictive behaviors, or unhealthy relationships can deplete this vital energy. The key is awareness and self-control, recognizing when energy is being squandered and redirecting it toward constructive activities. The principle of sex transmutation encourages the development of mental habits that reinforce control and direction of energy. Meditation, visualization, and affirmations help maintain focus on goals. Regular reflection on personal values and desires aligns sexual energy with higher purposes rather than fleeting impulses. In addition to personal benefits, sex transmutation positively affects interpersonal relationships. When sexual energy is transmuted, it fosters deeper emotional intimacy, mutual respect, and cooperation. These qualities build stronger partnerships and networks that support success. The energy becomes a force that unites rather than divides. Throughout history, many notable figures have exemplified the power of sex transmutation. Their achievements are not solely the result of intellect or skill, but the channeling of passionate energy into their work. This energy gave them endurance, creativity, and magnetic influence. In conclusion, sex transmutation is a profound secret to success that transforms one of the most basic human impulses into a dynamic creative force. Mastery of this principle requires awareness, discipline, and purposeful direction. When sexual energy is harnessed and redirected, it fuels imagination, courage, enthusiasm, and persistence. This transmuted energy is a powerful engine that drives personal achievement and fulfillment. Understanding and applying the mystery of sex transmutation unlocks a hidden reservoir of power within every individual, enabling them to reach heights otherwise unattainable. Chapter 12, The Subconscious Mind, The Connecting Link. The subconscious mind is one of the most powerful forces within the human being, yet it remains largely unexplored and misunderstood by many. It acts as a bridge, a connecting link between our conscious thoughts, desires, and the universal intelligence that governs all life. This unseen powerhouse holds the key to transforming dreams into reality, shaping habits, influencing emotions, and ultimately determining the course of a person's life. To unlock its full potential, one must learn to communicate with it effectively and harness its limitless power. The subconscious mind operates continuously, even while the conscious mind rests or is distracted. Unlike the conscious mind, which works through logic, reasoning, and deliberate decision-making, the subconscious is automatic, absorbing everything it encounters without judgment or analysis. It takes in every experience, every word heard or spoken, every thought entertained, and every emotion felt. Because of this, the subconscious mind is highly impressionable and plays a crucial role in shaping one's beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors. One of the most important characteristics of the subconscious mind is its inability to distinguish between reality and imagination. It accepts as true whatever thoughts and images are repeatedly impressed upon it with emotion and faith. This means that what a person constantly thinks about, especially if those thoughts are intense and emotional, will become ingrained in the subconscious and manifest in their external world. This is why controlling and directing one's thoughts is fundamental to success and self-mastery. The subconscious is responsible for controlling the body's vital functions, such as heartbeat, breathing, and digestion, without any conscious effort. But its influence goes far beyond the physical. It governs habits, reactions, and emotional responses, and it steers decisions often without the individual realizing it. This subconscious programming creates invisible barriers or bridges to success, depending on whether the input is positive or negative. Understanding how to feed the subconscious with positive, focused, and emotionally charged thoughts is essential. One of the primary tools for doing this is autosuggestion, also called self-suggestion. Through repetition of affirmations and deliberate mental imagery, a person can reprogram the subconscious mind to support their definite chief aim. The key is consistency and emotional intensity. The subconscious responds more to feeling than to words alone. Many moments of inspiration, creativity, and sudden insight originate in the subconscious. When the conscious mind is relaxed or focused on a different task, the subconscious mind continues working in the background, often producing solutions and ideas without conscious effort. This is why inventors, artists, and problem solvers frequently experience breakthroughs during moments of rest or daydreaming. However, the subconscious mind is a double-edged sword. It accepts all input without filtering, which means that fears, doubts, negative self-talk, and destructive habits can become deeply embedded. These negative patterns then sabotage efforts and create obstacles to achievement. Protecting the subconscious from such harmful influences requires vigilance and mental discipline. Techniques such as meditation and hypnosis are effective ways to bypass the conscious mind's critical filters and directly influence the subconscious. These states increase suggestibility, allowing new ideas and beliefs to be implanted more easily. While helpful, these methods are not substitutes for the everyday mental work of feeding the subconscious positive thoughts through autosuggestion and disciplined focus. The subconscious mind is like fertile soil, where the seeds of thought grow into tangible results. Positive seeds produce confidence, courage, and success. Negative seeds yield fear, hesitation, and failure. To cultivate a thriving garden of success, persistent effort is needed to water the seeds of desire with faith, emotion, and clear mental images. Many people carry subconscious limitations planted during childhood or by societal conditioning. These limiting beliefs may take the form of, "I am not good enough," "I will never succeed," or "money is evil." Such beliefs operate below conscious awareness but have profound effects on behavior and outcomes. Recognizing and uprooting these subconscious blockages is essential for personal transformation. Habit formation is another critical function of the subconscious. Habits are stored as automatic responses, freeing the conscious mind from repeated decisions. While this efficiency is beneficial, it also means that harmful habits can become deeply ingrained and difficult to change. To replace old habits with new, productive ones, a deliberate process of repeated mental and physical practice is required until the subconscious accepts the new pattern. Visualization is a potent method to influence the subconscious. By vividly imagining the achievement of a goal in all its sensory and emotional detail, a person impresses upon the subconscious mind a clear, compelling image of success. This mental rehearsal aligns emotions and intentions, preparing the mind and body to act accordingly. Intuition is another gift of the subconscious. Often experienced as sudden knowing or gut feelings, intuition arises from the subconscious processing vast amounts of information below conscious awareness. Learning to trust and interpret these intuitive signals enhances decision-making and creativity. Faith plays a central role in communicating with the subconscious. Faith is the unwavering belief in the reality of the desired outcome, even before it is visible. This belief acts as a command to the subconscious to work toward manifesting that outcome. Without faith, suggestions lack power and fail to produce results. Environmental influences continuously shape the subconscious mind. The people one associates with, the books and media consumed, and the physical surroundings all contribute to the thoughts and emotions stored in the subconscious. Positive environments nourish confidence and growth, while negative surroundings breed doubt and limitation. The subconscious is also the gateway to universal intelligence. When a person aligns their subconscious mind with positive desires and clear goals, they tap into an infinite source of wisdom and creative energy. This connection explains why sometimes success seems to come from luck or coincidence. It is the subconscious drawing on unseen forces to create opportunity. To harness the subconscious mind's power, one must cultivate mental discipline. This begins with awareness, recognizing recurring negative thoughts and replacing them with positive, constructive affirmations. Consistent repetition of these affirmations with emotional conviction is necessary to reprogram the subconscious. The subconscious mind also affects physical health and vitality. Stress, anxiety, and negative emotions weaken the body, while positive attitudes and faith promote healing and strength. The mind-body connection highlights the importance of maintaining a healthy mental state to support overall well-being. Successful people often engage in daily practices that feed the subconscious with empowering beliefs through meditation, visualization, and affirmations. These rituals build a mental environment conducive to resilience, creativity, and sustained effort. In summary, the subconscious mind is the vital connecting link between desire, faith, and action. It is the immense, powerful storehouse of mental impressions that shape every aspect of reality. Mastering its function through disciplined thought control, emotional engagement, and persistent affirmation unlocks unlimited potential. Without such mastery, even the strongest desires and plans remain unrealized. Understanding and harnessing the subconscious mind is essential for transforming dreams into lasting success and creating meaningful change in every area of life. Chapter 13, The Brain, a broadcasting and receiving station for thought. The brain is the physical organ that serves as the control center for the human body, but beyond its biological functions, it plays a far greater role in the realm of thought, imagination, and success. In the context of personal achievement and Napoleon Hill's philosophy, the brain is more than just an organ. It acts as a broadcasting and receiving station for thought, connecting the individual to the vast network of human consciousness and universal intelligence. Understanding this role of the brain is essential for anyone aiming to master their mental faculties and harness the full power of their mind. At its most basic, the brain processes sensory input, controls movement, and regulates bodily functions. However, it also operates as a transmitter and receiver of thoughts and ideas. This concept challenges the traditional view that thoughts are solely internal phenomena confined to the individual. Instead, the brain acts like a radio, capable of sending out vibrations of thought and picking up signals from others. This ability to communicate mentally with other minds, consciously or unconsciously, underlies many human experiences, including inspiration, intuition, and collective intelligence. Thought vibrations emanating from the brain are influenced by emotions, beliefs, and mental states. Strong emotions like love, faith, desire, and enthusiasm amplify the intensity of these vibrations, increasing their reach and impact. Conversely, negative emotions such as fear, doubt, and anger weaken and distort thought transmissions. This highlights the importance of maintaining positive mental attitudes to effectively broadcast and receive beneficial thoughts. The process of broadcasting thoughts is not limited to spoken or written communication. The brain emits subtle vibrations that can influence people and situations around the thinker. This phenomenon explains why some individuals possess a magnetic personality or a compelling presence. Their mental energy resonates powerfully, attracting attention and cooperation. This is also why surrounding oneself with positive people enhances one's own mental frequency, creating an environment conducive to success. Receiving thoughts is equally vital. The brain is tuned to pick up thought waves from other minds and the universal source of intelligence. This reception can occur consciously, as in deliberate study, brainstorming, or meditation, or unconsciously through intuition and sudden insights. Many breakthroughs in science, art, and business come from receiving ideas seemingly out of nowhere, a process that the brain facilitates by acting as a receiver. This exchange of thoughts between brains creates what Napoleon Hill calls the mastermind. The synergy formed when two or more minds work in harmony generates a higher mental plane, enabling greater creativity, problem solving, and achievement. Each mind adds its unique frequency, and together they form a powerful broadcast that influences both their immediate environment and the larger universe. The brain's ability to send and receive thoughts is enhanced through disciplined mental training. Practices such as meditation, concentration, and autosuggestion help focus the mind and strengthen the clarity of thought vibrations. When thoughts are clear, definite, and emotionally charged, they resonate more powerfully and are more likely to attract corresponding ideas and opportunities. Science has begun to explore and validate aspects of this concept through studies on brain waves, neural oscillations, and electromagnetic fields. The brain produces electrical activity that can be measured as brain waves, which vary according to mental states such as alertness, relaxation, and sleep. Some researchers theorize that these electromagnetic patterns could be the mechanism through which the brain transmits and receives thought vibrations. The brain's role as a broadcasting and receiving station also relates to the law of attraction, which states that like attracts like. Positive thoughts broadcast by the brain attract positive responses, circumstances, and people. Negative thoughts draw negativity. This feedback loop reinforces the importance of mental discipline and conscious control over one's thoughts. Intuition and creative inspiration are examples of the brain's receiving function. When the conscious mind is relaxed or focused on a problem, the subconscious brain tunes into higher frequencies, picking up solutions or ideas from the collective mental field. This explains moments of sudden clarity or aha experiences that seem to come from outside one's own reasoning. Communication through thought transmission is not limited to the physical senses or technology. Telepathy, or mind-to-mind communication, though not scientifically proven in the traditional sense, finds anecdotal support in numerous accounts of people sharing thoughts, feelings, or images without verbal exchange. This phenomenon, whether fully understood or not, underscores the brain's potential as a medium for mental connection beyond ordinary means. The emotional content of thoughts significantly affects the brain's broadcasting power. Thoughts charged with strong emotion carry more energy and have a greater chance of influencing the external environment and being received by other minds. This connection between thought and feeling highlights why emotions must be managed and aligned with one's goals. The brain's plasticity, or ability to change and adapt, plays a crucial role in its function as a broadcasting and receiving station. Neural pathways strengthen with repeated use, meaning that habitual thinking patterns become more pronounced. By consciously directing one's thoughts and emotions, a person can rewire their brain to consistently emit powerful, positive vibrations that attract success. Hill's philosophy emphasizes that by mastering one's brain, a person gains control over their mental environment and thus their external reality. This mastery involves cultivating positive mental habits, practicing focused thought, and harnessing emotional energy to amplify the brain's broadcasting and receiving functions. In practical terms, this means setting clear intentions, visualizing desired outcomes, and maintaining unwavering faith in their realization. The brain then broadcasts these intentions to the universal intelligence and is tuned to receive corresponding ideas, opportunities, and assistance. This dynamic interaction transforms thoughts into tangible results. Negative mental states interfere with this process. Doubt, fear, worry, and indecision create weak, scattered thought vibrations that fail to attract beneficial responses. They also open the mind to harmful influences and self-sabotage. Recognizing and eliminating these negative patterns is essential to maintaining the brain's effectiveness as a broadcasting and receiving station. The brain's role extends beyond individual achievement. Collective consciousness, shared beliefs, and social attitudes all stem from the cumulative thoughts broadcast by many minds. This collective thought energy shapes cultures, societies, and even global events. Understanding the brain's function in this context encourages responsibility for the quality of one's thoughts, knowing they contribute to a larger mental ecosystem. Advances in technology also demonstrate the brain's ability to interact with external systems. Brain-computer interfaces, neural implants, and biofeedback mechanisms show that the brain's electrical signals can be harnessed for communication beyond traditional means. While still in early stages, these developments hint at the potential to consciously enhance the brain's natural broadcasting and receiving capacities. The brain is not just a passive receiver, but an active participant in creating reality. Through conscious thought, emotion, and belief, it shapes perceptions, decisions, and actions. This creative power underscores the importance of mental discipline and purposeful focus in the journey toward success. In conclusion, the brain functions as a powerful broadcasting and receiving station for thought, linking the individual to universal intelligence and other minds. This dual capacity enables the transmission of desires, ideas, and emotions, as well as the reception of inspiration, guidance, and opportunities. Mastering the brain's function involves disciplined thought control, emotional alignment, and clear intention. By doing so, one taps into an infinite mental network, amplifying their ability to attract success and manifest their definite chief aim. The brain's power is vast, and understanding its role is fundamental to unlocking the full potential of the mind. Chapter 14, The Sixth Sense, the Door to the Temple of Wisdom. The sixth sense is the final principle in the journey toward mastering the mind and achieving true success. Unlike the five physical senses, sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, the sixth sense is intangible, elusive, and difficult to define. It acts as a bridge between the finite human mind and the infinite intelligence of the universe. This sense provides direct access to wisdom, intuition, and knowledge that cannot be gained through logical reasoning or sensory experience alone. Understanding and developing the sixth sense opens the door to a higher plane of consciousness and decision-making, often described as insight, hunches, or inspiration. The sixth sense is the culmination of all other principles, including desire, faith, persistence, and the subconscious mind. It cannot be awakened or activated until the other principles have been mastered to a degree where the mind is prepared to receive its messages. This means that the sixth sense is not a power that can be summoned at will. Rather, it is an innate faculty that develops naturally as a result of mental discipline, spiritual growth, and focused effort. This sense operates beyond the physical realm, transcending the limitations of time and space. It allows individuals to receive flashes of knowledge, ideas, or warnings that appear suddenly and without obvious cause. These experiences often come as subtle impressions, feelings, or mental images that guide decisions and reveal opportunities. The sixth sense often communicates through symbols and emotions rather than words, requiring an openness and attentiveness to recognize and interpret its messages. Many people experience the sixth sense in moments of crisis or decision-making, where logic and reasoning fail to provide clear answers. In such times, a sudden insight or intuitive understanding directs the individual toward the best course of action. This intuitive guidance has been credited for countless breakthroughs in science, art, business, and personal growth. It is a faculty that operates beneath the level of conscious thought, but is deeply trusted by those who learn to recognize it. Developing the sixth sense requires quieting the mind and fostering a receptive mental state. Practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and reflective solitude help reduce mental noise and create space for the sixth sense to emerge. These practices cultivate inner stillness and increase sensitivity to subtle impressions that might otherwise be overlooked. Faith plays a crucial role in accessing the sixth sense. Belief in one's ability to receive guidance and the openness to accept it without skepticism allow the sixth sense to function more freely. Doubt and fear act as barriers, blocking the flow of intuitive knowledge and wisdom. Cultivating unwavering faith in the unseen forces at work strengthens the connection to the sixth sense. The sixth sense also relies heavily on the subconscious mind. Since it operates beyond conscious logic, it draws upon the vast storehouse of experiences, knowledge, and emotions stored in the subconscious. This deeper level of mind synthesizes information in ways that the conscious mind cannot, making connections and seeing patterns that escape ordinary awareness. The sixth sense is essentially the conscious expression of the subconscious mind's deeper wisdom. Throughout history, great leaders, inventors, artists, and visionaries have attributed their most profound insights to the sixth sense. These flashes of inspiration have led to discoveries, creative masterpieces, and innovative solutions that have transformed societies. The sixth sense is thus a vital tool for anyone seeking to transcend ordinary limitations and tap into higher creativity and intelligence. The sixth sense also serves as a protective guide, warning against danger or poor decisions before they fully materialize. Many people have reported feelings of unease or sudden hesitation that prevented them from making costly mistakes or entering harmful situations. This instinctual alertness is a manifestation of the sixth sense's function to safeguard and guide. Developing sensitivity to the sixth sense requires patience and practice. It involves learning to trust inner promptings, even when they contradict conventional wisdom or external advice. This trust grows with experience and positive outcomes that reinforce the reliability of intuitive guidance. The sixth sense is sometimes confused with mere guesswork or superstition, but it differs fundamentally in its source and reliability. It is not a random guess or wishful thinking. It is a direct communication from the universal intelligence filtered through the subconscious mind. While it may not always be immediately explainable, it consistently proves accurate when followed with confidence. To cultivate the sixth sense, one must first master the foundational principles outlined in the journey of success. Without a burning desire, unwavering faith, persistent effort, and a disciplined mind, the sixth sense remains dormant or weak. These principles create the fertile ground upon which the sixth sense can flourish. Environmental factors also influence the development of the sixth sense. A calm, positive, and supportive atmosphere enhances receptivity, while stress, negativity, and distractions diminish sensitivity. Surrounding oneself with like-minded individuals who value intuition and inner wisdom fosters growth in this area. The sixth sense often works in tandem with creative imagination. Together, they form a powerful combination that enables visionary thinking and innovation. While imagination can visualize possibilities and generate ideas, the sixth sense provides the inner validation and direction needed to bring those ideas to fruition. In the final analysis, the sixth sense represents the highest form of mental development. It is the door to the temple of wisdom, granting access to knowledge and understanding beyond ordinary perception. Those who cultivate and heed their sixth sense gain a distinct advantage in navigating the complexities of life and achieving their greatest ambitions. The journey to develop the sixth sense is both a spiritual and practical endeavor. It requires dedication, openness, and the willingness to listen to the quiet voice within. As this faculty grows stronger, it brings clarity, confidence, and peace of mind, allowing individuals to act decisively and wisely. In conclusion, the sixth sense is an essential component of personal mastery and success. It serves as the final gateway to higher wisdom and universal intelligence, providing guidance that transcends logic and sensory experience. By mastering the preceding principles and cultivating faith, patience, and openness, individuals unlock this extraordinary power within themselves. The sixth sense is not merely an abstract concept, but a living, dynamic force that connects the human mind to the infinite, opening doors to new possibilities and profound achievement. Chapter 15, How to Outwit the Six Ghosts of Fear, Clearing the Brain for Riches. Fear is one of the most powerful and destructive forces that stands in the way of success. It undermines confidence, cripples initiative, and causes hesitation that leads to missed opportunities. Napoleon Hill identifies six major fears, referred to as the six ghosts of fear, that haunt the mind and prevent individuals from achieving their fullest potential. Understanding these fears and learning to overcome them is essential for clearing the brain and opening the pathway to riches and personal achievement. The six ghosts of fear are the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. Each of these fears is deeply rooted in human nature and culture, and they often operate unconsciously, shaping thoughts and actions in subtle but profound ways. These fears limit creativity, reduce mental clarity, and block the flow of positive thought vibrations necessary for success. The fear of poverty is perhaps the most common and most damaging. It creates a scarcity mindset, where a person constantly worries about lack rather than abundance. This fear fosters doubt and hesitation, discouraging bold action and promoting a conservative attitude that avoids risk. The fear of poverty causes people to accept mediocre circumstances rather than striving for greater wealth and opportunity. The fear of criticism is another powerful deterrent. Many individuals hesitate to pursue their goals because they fear what others will say. This fear stifles originality, innovation, and leadership. The desire to please everyone leads to conformity and inhibits the courage necessary to stand out and make bold moves. Overcoming this fear requires developing a strong sense of self and the confidence to act despite opposition or disapproval. Fear of ill health often manifests as hypochondria or excessive worry about bodily ailments. This fear drains energy and focus, distracting from productive endeavors. While maintaining health is important, excessive concern becomes an obstacle, consuming mental resources that could be better directed toward achievement. Positive mental attitudes and healthy habits are the antidotes to this fear. The fear of loss of love relates to emotional attachments and relationships. People may fear rejection, abandonment, or loneliness, which can lead to clinginess, insecurity, and poor decision-making. This fear limits personal growth by causing dependence on others' approval and creating emotional instability. Building self-love and emotional resilience helps to overcome this fear. Fear of old age causes dread of the physical and mental decline associated with growing older. It breeds a defeatist attitude and resignation, undermining ambition and the desire to achieve. Many allow this fear to rob them of vitality and enthusiasm, surrendering to the passage of time rather than embracing it as a source of wisdom and opportunity. Finally, the fear of death is the most universal and deeply ingrained of all fears. It evokes existential anxiety and can paralyze the will to act. While death is inevitable, an obsession with it detracts from living fully and pursuing one's purpose. Accepting mortality and focusing on legacy and contribution alleviates this fear. These 6 ghosts of fear operate by feeding on negative thoughts and emotions. They thrive in environments of uncertainty, ignorance, and low self-esteem. Recognizing their presence is the first step to neutralizing their influence. Once identified, the individual can begin to challenge and replace fearful thoughts with empowering beliefs. One of the most effective ways to outwit these fears is through the use of definiteness of purpose combined with faith and self-confidence. A clearly defined goal acts as a shield against fear by focusing the mind on positive outcomes rather than potential dangers. Faith reinforces this shield by building certainty that success is attainable and that obstacles are temporary. Mental discipline plays a critical role in controlling fear. The mind must be trained to reject fearful thoughts as soon as they arise and replace them with affirmations of courage, strength, and capability. This process requires vigilance and persistence because fear often disguises itself in subtle ways, masquerading as caution or realism. Education and knowledge also weaken the power of fear. Fear often stems from the unknown. By seeking information, acquiring skills, and preparing adequately, a person reduces uncertainty and increases confidence. Knowledge empowers action and diminishes anxiety about potential failure or loss. Taking action despite fear is a fundamental principle in overcoming it. Fear loses its grip when confronted with decisive movement forward. Each act of courage builds momentum and weakens the hold of fear. Success in small endeavors strengthens self-trust, creating a positive feedback loop that gradually dispels all 6 ghosts. Positive associations and supportive environments further aid in defeating fear. Surrounding oneself with optimistic, confident individuals creates a mental atmosphere that reinforces courage and diminishes doubt. Isolation and negativity, conversely, breed fear and hesitation. Visualization and autosuggestion are powerful tools to combat fear. By repeatedly imagining oneself acting confidently and achieving desired outcomes, a person impresses upon the subconscious mind new patterns that replace fear-based responses. Affirmations focused on strength, resilience, and success help rewire the brain's habitual reactions. Physical health and well-being also influence the mind's capacity to resist fear. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, and rest improve mental clarity and emotional stability. A healthy body supports a confident mind, better equipped to face challenges. Spiritual beliefs and practices can provide comfort and strength in the face of fear. Many find solace in faith, meditation, or philosophical perspectives that place individual fears in a broader cosmic context. This outlook reduces the intensity of fear and fosters a sense of peace and purpose. It is important to understand that fear is not eliminated entirely, but managed and controlled. Even the most successful individuals experience fear. The difference lies in their ability to act despite it and not be dominated by it. The process of clearing the brain for riches involves a deliberate and continuous effort to recognize fear, understand its nature, and refuse to allow it to dictate actions. By doing so, the mind becomes a clear channel for positive thought, creativity, and opportunity. In conclusion, outwitting the 6 ghosts of fear is essential for anyone seeking to achieve wealth, happiness, and personal fulfillment. These fears are mental barriers that limit potential and block the flow of creative energy. Through definiteness of purpose, faith, mental discipline, knowledge, and courageous action, these fears can be overcome. Mastering this principle clears the brain for riches, allowing the mind to operate freely and attract the success it desires. Fear, when conquered, becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block on the path to greatness.